I guess we should get started. We don't want to keep EJ waiting. You can see her. She's ready to get going. She's chomping at the bit. So I'll start us off. Hi everybody, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Amy Williams and I'm the director of 440 Gallery. I'm here now. I'm sitting outside because COVID. And I'm starting to really like these virtual events. We get people from everywhere, and I can see your faces close up when you turn your cameras on. Anyway, we're so thrilled to keep One Breath Rising going. The gallery just reopened this week. We've been closed for 6 months, so if you're in Brooklyn, come see me. I'm here every weekend from 11 to 7, and the gallery is open Wednesday through Sunday. So Wednesday through Friday, we're here 4 to 7 p.m., and I'm here on weekends 11 to 7. And, you know, in normal times, we would all gather together here at the gallery and get to greet each other and share a glass of wine and some snacks. So I hope you're all have your refreshments ready and are prepared for an afternoon of some excellent poetry and spoken word. We do have a wonderful new show that opened. It's called Event Horizon by Karen Gibbons. And we have about 10 really amazing mixed media artworks. Here, maybe I'll give you a quick tour. They're quite large. Woo. And yesterday we had the virtual artist talk, and that was really fun. So, woo, yes, this is the brave new reality that we live in. So please come visit us, and I think that's all I have to say. Thanks again for coming. I'm going to pass it over to one of our One Breath Rising fellows, and they'll introduce EJ.
Hi, I'm Joy Rosenthal, and we're so thrilled that you're here, and that we keep showing up. We can keep showing up, and that you keep showing up. And we're especially thrilled today to have one of our founding members, EJ Antonio, read for us. It's always wonderful to hear EJ. She has a really, she performs with a lot of jazz musicians, which really shows in her poetry, even when she's not performing with a jazz musician, as you'll see. She's very rhythmic, as well as putting words together in just an incredible way. I want to just say a couple of things before we start. It's helpful to have you on mute most of the time, but we also like to give feedback to the artist and like to make it a little bit interactive. So feel free to unmute yourself to clap, for instance, so we can get your sound reaction as well as your seeing your faces. And I also just want to quickly mention that the upcoming performances, Anton Nimblett is going to be reading prose next month. In November, we'll have Kathy Engel reading poetry. In December, we'll have J.P. Howard, who's on the call with us today, reading poetry. And in February, we'll have Larry Rowland, who's a wonderful bass player. We're still working out January and March, but we're getting there. And of course, will let us know if you're not on the email list. Please put your email in the chat and I'll add you. And what else do I need to say? We raised over $10,000 for the Darrell Allardyce Memorial Fund, so we're thrilled about that, and we're working on how we're going to use that and do something memorable for him. And we miss him, but we're also thrilled. I know he would want us to keep going, and he'd be happy that we're continuing to go on, and so here we are. And he would be thrilled and he's right here with us in spirit today. So, and he really loved, I want to just say also, he really loved performing with EJ and working with EJ, and really having EJ perform really and following Michael Wimberly, who's with us today, and Faye Victor. It really feels like a continuation of all of the work we've been doing together. So we're especially thrilled about that. EJ, I didn't say much about your biography, so I don't know if you want to say anything before you get started, but I'll leave it to you.
Well, thanks for logging in today, everyone. I just want to say I am a founding member of a group called the Jazz and Poetry Choir Collective. And we have a new CD that you can get on CD Baby. And you can listen to it on Spotify and all the normal places you listen to streamed music these days. And if you can see the cover, it's a really great compilation of work by all the members of the group. So I hope that you'll look it up. It's called We Were Here by the Jazz and Poetry Choir Collective. And I also have my own solo CD called Rituals in the Marrow, Recipe for a Jam Session. And you can get it on CD Baby also. So I'm going to start. In deciding today what I was going to read, I've written a lot of poems, obviously, as a lot of poets have, about the pandemic and all the different things that we're going through. And so I decided I'm going to read several of those today, and I might read one or two older ones from a few years back, but we'll see how time plays with that. So the poems I'm going to start with, they're really poems that celebrate women and all the different things that women do. And especially when times are hard, how women stand up and do what they need to do. So this one is called Woman. And I'm going to open with a very short verse of Amazing Grace, because my grandmother was a minister. And she was a minister at a time when they didn't allow women to actually go into the pulpit. So this is for her. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost.
You're missing the singing.
But now I'm found. 'Twas blind, but now I see. Woman, we persevere, we create, we destroy, we fear, we decide how brave to be. When certainty is ripped from the foot's next step, we do what our mamas taught us. We stand still, take a breath, live. We persevere, we create, we eat, we feed, we work, we love, we anger, we laugh, we anger, we laugh, we cry. We let the footsteps land where they may. We do what our mamas taught us. We keep walking. I've done my 10,000 steps. I've done them today, going up and down stairs, answering the bell, ring and buzz of washer and dryer, too many trips to count. I've done my weight training. Yes, I've done my weight training. Haven't been to the gym, but I've done my weight training. Folding sheets, blankets, clothing, filling and emptying laundry baskets, bench pressing 30 pounds of squirming toddler. Good for the abs and the biceps. I've done my aerobics, taking out trash bags, carrying dishes from table to sink, catching objects randomly thrown by a 19-month-old whose favorite phrase is, uh-oh, no. And if I didn't know better, something that resembles a frustrated, oh shit. Remarkably used in its correct context. We must admit, there's nothing like these Saturday chores to get the blood pumping, the back hurting, the muscles aching, the knees throbbing. There is nothing like housework, that laid back personal trainer waiting to make the body miserable, miserable, and more miserable. And that 19-month-old toddler, she already knows Dada is a stern pushover. Mama got a break point that she don't want to hit. Grandma is a wall unmoved by all of it. When her Dada asked her how many times she was in timeout today, she beats her mama to the answer. 3, says it as if she's won something, like we adults are avatars in a Mario Brothers video game, and she's the master gamer, racking up points. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Another Juneteenth. If not here, then where would I be? Shifting across histories that I've never heard. The chains rattle, never felt the lash, thrashing ocean, sinking flesh torn from ancient lands. My body never knew the name I was separated from. I search the faces coming toward me on any street in any of these United States of ambiguity, half expecting to find a familiar stranger. Some stranger will claim me, rising from south, west, east, north. I, a living ghost, walking across paved over fields, hiding in plain sight, my anguished terror layered just below the surface of skin, a legacy passed on, unanswered. If not here, in the falsehood of America, then where? Who would I be had there been no shifting across histories? Who would I be had there been no shift across oceans of histories that my body never knew? Deployment. She's never burned sage at the altar. All her prayers to the ancestors are songs carrying the scent of her body into the interior of walls. She cannot see how the elders smile, applaud her modest offering, cast from the bow of a ship, the crest of sand dunes. She searches the empty, thick-walled rooms, older than any time she can remember. Some days she feels the warmth of spirit hugs. Other days she must remind herself that they are there. They are there, constantly, 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 constantly rebuilding their fortresses around her, guiding her through battlefields, snare bombs, sniper bullets. They are there constantly to spare her mother and children from standing on another shore, from wailing their grief into an ocean already overburdened with sorrow. Double Shift is a woman named Sarah. Woman, your wash bin is covered in morning's rising mist. The pump handle sweats in the damp coolness. You dip your elbow in boiled water. Carefully pour lye into melted lard. The aroma teases your nostril hairs, stings your eyes, and you become more than church usher, cook, more than farmer. Mother, you hang pounds of clouds to dry. Your wooden clothespins hold the weight of cast. Your homemade lye soap melts the skin in layers. Falling into the pond of work, your achy hands churn, churn, churn the suds. Your wrinkled fingers can't tell the difference between wet, damp, dry. You have learned to play the scrub board the way you play tambourine in church, hard and fast. Every morning, you become a double shift, singing to your baby the way you used to sing to your man. You carry her on your back to the field. You plow and you plant till dusk calls you home to bleach your own linen. Think of what you've lost, mother. Your love. What you've gained, woman. A few more coins to squirrel away for the rain that's surely a-coming. The house. It is the annoying whirring of the cicadas. This movement in the tall trees, crushing the songbirds' antebellum blues. A slow-paced homage to her sandstone brick house, emptied of voices and the shuffle of feet. It echoed and looms, weathered and diminished as the taxi maneuvers curves of unkempt road behind. Behind the overgrown fields, a vignette, somewhere between the 150-year-old oak, snakes and ticks and hummingbirds and hummingbirds and hummingbirds and sparrows, 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 and horsefly, but and crickets, 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 all fight for a space in the failing roof gutters. There are sprouts of pine stretching out roots, holding strong against the breeze. Like it or not, Grandma was right. We heirs have failed it and the land. Every year we pay a tax to keep it silent to our neglect, to keep our disinterest in living there a secret. A secret, a secret, a secret, a secret, a secret, a secret. These blues, these down and under the house blues, notes of music, shifting into blood currents, you know, the da-da-da-da-dum, dum, da-da-da-da-dum, dum, that can't be satisfied with just shipping and sipping champagne, when rock gut and shining moon is all that will do. Save the 150 proof flask for the midnight rendezvous, and save the wine, da-da-da-da-da, wine, da-da-da-da-da, for Friday night bands running you into bad decisions. You know, that early morning stumble to my door, the fight, the slap you gave but don't recall, but you swear on John's gospel that it wasn't you. Da-da-da-da-dum, dum. Da 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 da. Save the wine for Friday night bands. Da 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 dum. And my people, they come, spin you round and round and round like a wind chime, swing you off my porch. Blood marks the step where you fell and busted your lip. And I laughed and I laughed and I laughed, da 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 dum, dum, da 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 dum, dum. Amen rises from my gut, da 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 dum. And my music that's been so locked up in my throat, I forgot its honeyed echoes in this place. Da 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 dum, dum, da 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 dum, dum. Yeah, these blues, da 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 da. These down and under the house blues, da 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 da. Yeah, it's some music, da 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 da, da dum, da 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 dum, da. Da 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 da. Some say I enter daylight on my terms. Learn how the oceans moved from a slave's mouth to the rivers where they were bred, erased, and drowned. Some say the ocean never moved. The ships made it way too heavy. But I carry its sandy bottom wreckage in my womb. Some say the river never ran. The drowned ones made it too heavy. But I carry waters crying and the moon in my womb. The ocean told me, you know your tribe by the language you cry in. Steal away, steal away, steal away when there's nothing left but stars. Every warrior woman who died riding birth's wild horses whispered all the songs they danced to in my ears. Steal away, steal away. And some say, I will carry them, I will carry them. I will carry them in my womb forever. Metro North Station, Pelham, New York. Count me in my car, a Jeep, sitting in front of the 12-hour meter, outside of the North Side parking lot. Count 2 young cardinals, bright red of puberty blazing in the sun, surveying the neighborhood. Count the 3 cars parked next to me, BMW, Benz, Audi. Count 4 sparrows chasing each other and the cardinals from shrub to shrub, from shrub to shrub, chirping loudly, chirp, 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 chirping loudly, having a raucous time. Count the meter person riding by in that little scooter, ticketing machine in hand, frowning because there's no time infraction here. Count the police officer in his patrol car, his face open, speculating why I'm sitting there. Count the oversized crow perched on the power line, eyes stalking the sparrows the way the police gawk at me. Occupant of a Jeep in the upper middle class line of luxury. Butter soft leather bucket seats, rear view cameras, Bose sound systems. Count me, count me and the small birds moving to other landscapes. We're a septet, looking to enjoy a nice day. Find a place where we are not so easily preyed upon. Coming home from the party while black. For the young woman sitting in a car under siege. Even the moon turns vigilante. In its darkest morning hours, it illuminates uniforms, demanding an unearned respect, wielding power's disrespect. Even the street lamps conspire against the body. A black body spotlighted in the absurdity of the irrational routine reason. Police received a report of an attempted armed robbery. Even the stars grow angry with the body. Sitting in the sanctity of a nice vehicle, always suspect, 2 black bodies, faceless silhouettes on the firing range, on the internet, in the newspapers, on the radio. No remorse when allegation becomes mistaken identity. When no alleged weapon is found on or near the body. When gun powder pierces the flesh for no reason. The threadbare excuse, the imagined weapon, the justification for thrusting, attacked, and attackers into calamities, unforgivable, unerasable. The thought that the attackers might be unhappy. A young Black woman's body did not die. This time, they will carry their hatred home, wrap it in a sandwich bag to preserve it for another round of target practice. And the Black body will press on, living with the insight of what it means to be the bullseye. Listen to the thunderstorms. Somewhere in the distance, not bringing the promised rain, not bringing the promised rain. Listen to the thunderstorms. Listen, listen, listen to the thunder. Listen, listen, listen to the thunderstorms, thunderstorms. Somewhere in the distance, not bringing the promised rain. Lightning bolts, spiderweb across evening sky, long enough to be as annoying as White House tweets, sparking brush fires, brush fires, brush fires, foul, fatal, brush fires, lightning bolts, spider web across evening sky, annoying as White House tweets, the inner sanctum of a rich family, a brother, a sister, a niece, cannibalizing their own dysfunction, blazing across headlines for all to see, the lightning bolts, spider web across evening skies, hashtag say her name, Sandra Bland, hashtag say her name, Breonna Taylor, hashtag we used to say no justice, no peace, no justice, no peace. Say her name, say her name, say her name, say her name until somebody gets the damn point. Say her name. Brown skin canaries locked in coal mines are thunderstorms with thunderstorms somewhere in the distance, but we're not promising no rain. Somewhere in the distance, their lightning bolts are spider webbing across the sky, across all the evening skies to spark the brush fires, to stomp out the cannibal. Burn candle, sage, light bonfire, watch good trouble rise in the smoke. Watch good trouble rise in the smoke. Somebody say, hashtag, say something. Hashtag, say her name, Sandra Bland. Hashtag, say her name, Breonna Taylor. Hashtag, we used to say no justice, no peace. Say her name until somebody gets the point. Pandemic 2020. The toilet paper calculator says, and I couldn't resist the 20-pack of Scott's 1,000 sheets on the ShopRite shelf. So boldly in my view, the 18 rolls of Charmin left over in my pantry from my pre-coronavirus November Costco run, I still had to look at the toilet paper calculator, and it said I had enough Charmin the last 18 weeks, but I couldn't resist the what ifs. So I loaded my Scott's allotment into my cart, doubting the economy will bounce back, doubting that it'll be there the next time, doubting science's ability to save my common sense from this vortex. The toilet paper calculator now says I'm good for 38 weeks. It's a good thing. I'm good for 38 weeks. For 38 weeks, something soft and familiar will caress the body. The body, the mind that is emotionally battered, bruised by the harsh, suffocating indifference of an invisible, untouchable enemy. The seventh day is Saturday. There's one rug to be clean, some silver to polish, a lace tablecloth to watch. And there is always house sweeping after egg gathering. Joshua picks up the broom. His mama stands on the porch washing Mr. Scott's white shirts. He empties the slop jar, moves the beds. Mama, these dust bunnies breed faster than mice in the field. Her absent-minded thought, just like rumors and secrets. She's elbow deep in scrubbing collars full of lipstick traces. Notices it's not Mrs. Scott's shade. Every woman in town knows she wears rose red. This is harlot's red. Joshua's sweeping the corners. Mama, these cobwebs get bigger every week. Getting bigger, just like lies, Mama. Ain't that what you say, Mama? Getting big as lies. And she sighs. Biggest in the finest homes. He doesn't understand. Just knows to keep sweeping before the dirt overtakes them. She's scrubbing Mr. Scott's shirts. The stains grow bigger and darker every week. And Mrs. Scott's smile grows tighter and tighter as she waits to crack. Just like rumors and secrets. So for those of us that need some comfort food for the mind while we're isolated, masked up, socially distancing, and all of that good stuff, here's a poem that I wrote for my grandmother. I don't know when I learned to eat. No, separate. No, wean flesh from skin of a navel orange. Cut and quartered, not peeled. I learned to extract seeds in the mouth, spit them out, without biting down into the sour bitterness hidden under the shell. I just know in Grandma's house, they were there in all seasons. A&P supermarket brand, quartered and heaped on a plastic floured plate in the icebox, waiting for eager mouths. Mine, my brother's, her own. Her hands, Bible and sermon free on summer Friday nights, she sliced whole watermelons and cantaloupes with those oranges. Quartered the slices the same way, layered them like a cake. She waited for the first wedge to be taken. To begin the weekend, this was her family altar, dedicated and blessed, loving hands, making her make do, know how to satisfy sweet cravings of grandchildren when trips to the neighborhood candy store were not in her budget. Her budget, tighter than the girdles she wore to keep time's gravity at bay. At the Blue House next door, the baby shower happens in shifts. Some guests stand on the porch, surgical mask in hand. Take a picture next to a poster of the mother-to-be. Leave the gift in front of the unopened door. Some guests will enter the backyard, no mask required. Socially distanced, they sit themselves around the stone patio, grab a plate of food to go, leave a gift by the fireplace as they depart, one at a time. Unmasked, their laughter rings of an emptiness wider than the mandatory 6 feet of separation. They feel trapped, feel how life has become virtual, even in person. We could say the virus mutates geographically. The task force keeps avoiding saying the obvious. Just say it's not the China version attacking New Yorkers. Just say Europe. Just say our borders were closed to half of the threat. Just say the Black mother who lost her daughter who worked at the giant supermarket cried so hard during her MSNBC News interview that the newscaster lost her stoic face and cried with her. The news. The task force keeps avoiding stating the obvious. We could plainly say, all essential workers are being sent to slaughter. Paint them with the mask of heroes. Send them to war with dull sticks and no armor. Where's Captain America when you need him? Where's Wonder Woman when you need her? Where's Black Panther? Where is Black Panther? Living in fantasy, just say the emperor fiddled and danced naked in the glow of an artificial suntan while the country burned. Just say the mother who lost her daughter who worked at the giant supermarket became hysterical during her MSNBC News interview as she held up her daughter's last paycheck for $20. Just say she screamed into the camera that the snake oil drug of choice didn't work. Say the newscaster lost her stoic camera face and cried with her. We could say a virus mutates across grief. They keep avoiding stating the obvious. Damn it, just say. It's still easier to focus on the color line, to give a false sense of safety and privilege to the other. Just say, go to the party. Play no mask required roulette with everyone's life. Just say how the freezer trucks are filled with our murderous ignorance. Living at the midpoint between two hospitals, nerve-wracking. Sirens speed east and west, drown out all other sounds, like Wallace Roney trumpet, like Ellis Marcellus piano, like Mike Longo piano, like add a name, like add another name. Like the respirators failed and the sirens raced back and forth persistent as blue jays marshaling to battle, the crow waiting to devour every single note, trying to escape. Sirens speed east and west, drown out all other sounds like Wallace Roney piano and trumpet and piano and Ellis Marcellus and add a name, add another name, like add a name, add a name, add a name, add a name for every single note trying to escape. I grow tired of the off again, on again, hot flashes. Open the window, close the window, sweater on, sweater off, in isolation, sweater on, sweater off. The anxiety-driven nighttime acid reflux attacks. What works better, Pepsid AC or ginger ale? What works better? The early morning sirens, the afternoon sirens, the late evening sirens, the indignation and disappointment of reporters after a Trump briefing. They keep expecting a truth he cannot give. They keep expecting a truth he cannot give. The blessing of FaceTime, the curse of FaceTime. I grew tired of the blessing of FaceTime, the curse of FaceTime. Close, but not close enough to fill the void. The Trump Show, fantasy versus reality smackdown. The Trump Show, ratings higher than The Bachelor. The Trump Show, doing very, very, very great things. Not the early morning creak and groan of a house settling. The all hours of the day and night groan of my body settling slowly into the disrepair of age. And I'm still awake at 3 a.m. And I grow tired, 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 tired. Tired of these lessons reinforced on the nightly news. We are so afraid of the evil walking among us. We comb our hair, give the broken strands back to the river. We are so afraid of the evil slinking under every altar. We draw unbreachable battle lines. The brooms laid down jumped. We are so afraid of the evil wandering through the walls of power. We build bridges of law to cross. Pay a toll for the honor of being lost in its maze. We are so afraid. We are so afraid. We are so afraid of the evil hiding in the pantry. We burn candles, sage, light bonfire, watch our faces rise in the smoke. The only evil we've ever known to run from. Our own. A contemplation. Let's say a thunderstorm works its way northward up the East Coast. It leaves a trail of floodwaters, ebbing, flowing, swelling the land, drowning churches and homes alike. Let's say it mimics a virus, doesn't discriminate, doesn't judge who's righteous or unrighteous, doesn't decide who's worthy to be spared, who's not. Let's say it finds our weak points. Let's say it freezes us, washes over us, leaving the stinging bites of red ants. We can't escape this numbing pain. Let's say we are learning to invite it in for coffee, learning to chat it up, trying to learn its next move. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Oh, I was lost, but now I'm found. 'Twas blind, but now I see. You know, it was a grace that taught my heart to feel, and grace my fears believe. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first me. Let's say a thunderstorm worked its way over a continent. It doesn't discriminate. It mimics a virus, doesn't judge who's righteous or unrighteous. Thank you, everyone, for coming today and listening to this presentation that I have offered.
All right now.
Thank you.
Amen. Ashe.
Asheo.
Fantabulous. DJ, thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone, for coming today and giving me an hour of your time. And I hope that people are uplifted by something that I read today in the midst of all of this stuff that's going on. And I hope you laughed at some points too, because some of it is pretty comical. But you know, it is what it is. How she say it? It is what it is.
Congratulations, EJ.
Thank you.
It was great. It was really wonderful.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, so much. We will see you next month. Thank you, especially EJ. I'm going to repeat Amy's link to so that you can support us. And if you can, that would be wonderful. And we'll see you on the second Sunday of next month when we'll have Anton
Nimblett.
Anton Nimblett.
Yes, Anton is once a wonderful story writer, people. So definitely tune in next month.
Right.
We appreciate you, Joy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joy.
All of you. EJ, thank you so much. You keep us going for the next month.
You really
Oh, I see some familiar
Really deep
faces there.
Thank you.
Hi, Jackie.
Hey, hey. How you doing?
I'm good.
That was fabulous. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Some bang up new poems. Go on, girl.
go.
Hey, I had to try him out.
EJ, I'll send you the chat, the transcript of the chat,
Okay.
so you can see how people were
I like the
responding.
sound of
Hear
that.
us.
The transcript of the chat. Oh, that sounds scary.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right.
Thank you.
That was really so special. You took me to
Thank
a
you.
deep, deep place. And
Thank you.
and laughed too.
Oh, yeah. The toilet paper calculator. Oh, my.
I just had to do it. I couldn't resist. When I saw it online, I said, okay, let me try this. So, but you know, there's some stuff that came out so comical because I could never understand what was the rationale for there being a shortage of toilet paper and paper towels when the whole thing began. It was just kind of bizarre to me, you know. But you know, when you go into the supermarket and you see empty shelves where those products should be, you're like, when you see them, you're like, okay, I better get this now because this is going to be empty in about an hour.
Right. In the beginning, man, everything was flying off the shelves. Got what
Right.
you could get. That's it.
I'm telling you. And I still can't find Lysol. They still don't have Lysol.
No.
It's terrible.
Nor
I don't know what they're
fantastic.
thinking.
Nor Clorox wipes.
No, right? It's something. So
It's
some
in a
unusual
warehouse.
times.
Oh, God.
Okay. Well, I think that this is our end of our discussion. Unless somebody has a question, I can answer a couple of questions before they go off. But if not, then we'll turn it back over to Joy.
Well, I think you did an amazing job. I think you gave us a lot to think about. I'm sure we will have questions, but it'll probably be in the middle of the night at 3 o'clock when we're having hot flashes, those of us that do.
I have a question, or I know that you many times perform with music, with accompaniment, but here you had so much of your own accompaniment, your own sense of rhythm, and your singing, which is beautiful, really, and it came from a deep place. And I was just curious how you get into that rhythm. How do you get into rhythm without, how do you think about it and feel it?
Well, I'm from the school of poetry and spoken word.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is sound. So I've never not had the music, even though if I wasn't working with musicians, I've never not had the music. It comes across on the page. Other people who are instrumentalists do look at my work and go, they've told me, we see the space where the music can come in. So I've always written like that. So this is like, to me, this is second nature. I do have to give credit where credit is due, because when I was a child, I used to listen to Nancy Wilson a lot. And my grandmother was a preacher. She actually pastored a church. So my style is basically whatever else I've added to it. It's a combination of, if you listen to Nancy Wilson, how she phrases her songs.
Yes.
And if you listen to the types of ministers, they call them whooping ministers, where their voice sort of rides on it rides on the level of song, but they're not really singing. Right. It just sounds like they are, but they're not. That was the type of minister my grandmother was. So that from when I first did my first reading, those influences came through loud and clear. People used to come up to me and say, when you're reading poetry, it sounds like you're singing, but I'm not singing. So there's no separation there. So whether I have the musicians or I don't, it doesn't faze me. One way, it doesn't faze me because it's a natural thing for me to add more sound. It is a natural thing for me to improvise within my own work. Half of the poems that I did today, you would not, if you read them, if you were reading them while I was performing them, you would see all the different places I improvised within my own work.
I see.
So I do miss not playing, performing the way I normally perform, where we have some Michael or Chris Sullivan or whatever behind, playing and stuff with me. But it is what it is right now. So, I'm just reverting back to how I originally started, because I didn't always work with musicians when I started doing readings and writing the poetry.
Thank you.
It's interesting that COVID gives you sort of a different structure to work in and to finesse.
I think a lot of us who like to do performance type poetry, we've taken another leap, because I normally would not have live streamed anything. And I definitely wouldn't somebody else would be videoing me if they were going to do the video. You know what I'm saying? But as now, because of the situation we're in, we kind of have to learn how to set up our pods and things to do the streaming. And it is different, because you do a regular reading and you got a room full of people, and you look down and you look back up, you're looking at an audience. You look down and look back up at the screen, all you see is you, really. And you got to be careful, because on screen, it always looks like you're looking down when you're really not, so you got to figure out where to put the thing and all of that. So it's been a challenge. I'm getting more used to it, but I'll be glad when we go back to business as, try to get back as much as business as usual. We could actually do something live, and, have that,
You also had
that
to
interaction.
keep going without us clapping. You did the whole thing without hearing anything from us.
Well, I used to do that too. I used to do, when I first started out, if I had a reading, I would ask people I would tell them that this is going to be a continuous set of work. So they wouldn't clap in between the poems. But it's easier to do it this way when you're streaming, because you're not seeing an audience. And so you could just string them along to tell hopefully a cohesive story.
Yeah.
Are those album covers behind you? I'm looking at
Yes, they are. So I'll explain. My daughter went to college in Chestnut Hill in Philly. Her college name is Chestnut Hill. Well, in the Chestnut Hill section of Philly, there is a little record store right over the train station, and it sells old albums and it sells CDs and whatnot. So when she was going to school, I used to go over to the store and flip through the old albums. And so these album covers, I bought all of these. They actually, the albums are inside the covers.
Oh my.
In the frames, but I didn't have anything to play the albums on because we had gone all the way completely to CDs. But they're, 2 of them are from Verve and 2 of them are from Elektra Records. And 2 of them are, the first one at the top was Dizzy Gillespie and Stan Getz. The next one down is Dizzy Gillespie, One Night in Washington with an Orchestra. And then I have Ben Webster and Coleman Hawkins right behind me with the green tones. And then I have Charlie Parker with orchestra hanging up to the left. So that's what those are. And so I found frames big enough to put them in.
Cool.
And I did that. So I put them on the wall. So I'm in my hallway, just in case anybody wants to know. My hallway is about 4.5 feet wide, and it's just enough space. And I have overhead chandeliers in my hall, so it gives me a more even light. And I use my hall as like my art gallery. Okay. So I have a lot of art hanging on the wall. It's a rather long hallway, so so that's why you see these pictures here.
Nice.
Yeah. So, well, I know some people have to go. I think we lost a couple of people.
Yeah.
All right.
So.
All right.
Well, thank you again, everybody.
All right. Good night.
Thank you, EJ.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Beautiful.
Bye-bye.
Bye.